He had this picture perfect life planned out, and he's like, oh, Davielle, let me place her in this life that I have built. But as far as us building together and really having conversations that hit in a way where I felt like I had a partner, no. Oh, hey. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Davielle, if you don't know. I feel kind of hyped to talk about this because, period. Like, I was engaged. Just dive in, okay? 2019, I was engaged to a man, and I ended it with confidence, okay? And I want to talk to y'all about it because I think that we see the red flags sometimes, but we don't do anything about it. And I was one of those people. And so I want to give you some tips and tricks on what I did, at least in my situation, or how I even understood that this person just wasn't for me. No matter how deep in I was, I'm talking like engagement party invites were sent out and everything. Like, I was deep in that thing, okay? I was wedding shopping and all that. I didn't purchase anything yet, so, but I was going to expos. I saw one or two venues, I think one venue for sure, and you know, things were moving. So just some background. But yeah, I ended it, and I basically learned that I was dating a narcissist. And I know people throw that word around, so I'm not even gonna focus on the narcissist word today. I'm gonna actually focus on me and what went down. So the first thing that I can do is take responsibility. I can take responsibility for my part in it because I was raised to value a man taking care of me. And by taking care, it doesn't mean that I don't do anything. I don't think my family really leaned on that. It was more so the man should be superior. The man should really take care of the household. If he has money, then you've hit the jackpot, basically. They really highlighted that. And as a Caribbean woman, I grew up understanding that, but I didn't agree with it, right? And so, oh my God, we're gonna keke. I think I'm gonna go into detail. So grab your drink of choice. I'm having some water because it's hot in here, okay? But we gonna talk. Okay. I don't know, I'm excited. Okay, I like y'all. I don't know, I like you. So thank you for being here. Anyway, I didn't think I was gonna get this excited. Okay, this is so funny. So clearly I'm over this situation now that it's 2024. I'm all over the place. Okay, so I met this man in New York 3 years before we met back up. So I met him for the first time at a club. With some girls, like a bunch of group of girls, which I'm gonna talk about that, how I used to travel with a bunch of girls and I manifested it and it came true. Anyway, so we were at a club and I had a white dress on, I was looking cute, and he ended up coming up to me and my friend kind of, so we couldn't tell who he was into, but then my friend was like, oh, it's her birthday, and he's like, oh really, okay, hi. And so we ended up talking. I'm like, dang, it's not my birthday, this is awkward. Like, my birthday was literally like the month or two after that, but I was like, damn, like I gotta play along. Like, I'm not good at lying at all. I don't like lying. People that know me know I don't like lying. I hate it. It's so cringy. So I went along with it and I was like, yeah, and he ended up getting me a section. He ended up doing a bunch of stuff and I was like, whoa. So it was awkward. Okay, it was cool. It was like a good night. All my girls, he got me, all my girls, section, bottles, blah. That was when I was drinking. I don't drink anymore, but when I was drinking, he did that. But he like hung out. We hung out in the car for a little, and then I went upstairs to our place. I did not stay with him or anything like that. He got on the phone. He got my number. I was like, hey, my birthday actually is in 2 months. It is not today. My girl just told you what she told you, so I'm sorry. I went along with it because I was knee deep in it. So I had to admit it to him immediately. He wasn't mad. He was just like, dang, okay. But he was a very well-off man. He had his like Mercedes-Benz convertible, very well-off, but he was about like 10 years older than me. So that was something that I had to keep in mind while I was talking to him. Wow, I'm really airing myself out right now. Good. I'm sweating. Anyway, so I had like graduated college a couple months after I met him. So I was kind of in my like, okay, let's see what's out there. And he was moving pretty fast. He was just like, oh, like, you know, wants to make plans with me, all this stuff. He wanted to get me an apartment in New York. He wanted to do a lot. And I was flattered. I genuinely was. But I also saw the red flags. Like, I just thought that he was kind of flirty. He would talk about like, you know, other women and like it's almost like he was trying to be hip. Like, he was trying to make it seem like that's what I'm into. Like, I want a sugar daddy or something. And I was just kind of like, no, I'm not into it. Mind you, like I said, my family raised me to understand this is lit. I ended up being like, this isn't for me. And I had to end up breaking it to him. Like, I'm not into it. I can't do it. He ended up being really rude. He was like so rude how it ended, and I just ignored what he wrote me. He wrote me a long text. I don't even want to get into that. Ugh. But yeah, he was rude, and I was like, whatever. So we don't talk for 3 years. And then one lonely night, for those 3 years, I literally remained single. And a family member of mine said, because you let that man go, you're never gonna meet anyone better or anyone up to par. And literally for the 3 years, I never met anyone better. And so it stuck with me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look for his number, because I was lonely, and I was like really concerned, like, did I make a mistake? Because this is how people manipulate you, right? And so I'm in my head, because I'm really single for 3 years, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I ended up finding his number randomly, and I wrote him. I was like, hey, so-and-so. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm gonna try not to say his name, jeez. But he responded, and he happened to be single. I happened to be single, and it happened to be his birthday that week, and he wanted to come see me for his birthday. And I was just like, oh, okay. So we ended up hanging out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try this time. I'm gonna actually try, because maybe my family knew something I didn't know. And this man was kind of like more well off now at this point, 3 years later. And so he was flaunting it for sure. We went to like an elaborate restaurant in Boston. We got bottles and all this stuff. He was, you know, wining and dining for his birthday. Mind you, I got him a gift, but he did not care. He booked the hotel. He did all that. He was very on it. And so I was like, great. Now at this point, I'm like, I'm giving it a try. I end up going to him. We're seeing each other quite often. And so now we're like 1 month in. And this man is doing all the elaborate things. He's doing everything that a woman should feel excited about. And I was, because there was a level of like, ooh, like I'm kind of forgetting some of the stuff we did. But I was in Boston, he was in New York, so back and forth 4 hours. He like flew me out. It was just, he had his apartment. I was going over. I was leaving, you know, I wasn't leaving stuff yet. And 1 month in, it was just a lot of hanging out, seeing each other. He was bringing me all around the town. Like, if I go into detail, y'all, this man, it was spoil central for sure. But I was also ready to give it a try. So I'm also at his house cooking for him. I'm doing what I'm taught to do. And I also have a rebellious nature. So there are things he would say to me, like, for example, texting or like, you know, whatever. And if I go a little while not writing him, he's like, what the heck? But then if he goes to something or an event or whatever, and he doesn't talk to me all day, it's okay. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not okay. By the way, I don't like the double standard, because I wouldn't bother you about it if you didn't bother me about it. There were little things. I was just like, okay. By a month and a half or so, he's talking about wanting me to move in and wanting me to quit my job. And at the time, I didn't want to quit my job yet. I had just recently got my job at Harvard. So I was like, you know what? No, I just got this job. I'm enjoying it. Now, fast forward to, he wants me to come see him more often. It was just a lot of things that I didn't really align with. And he would kind of joke about cheating and all that. There was just stuff coming up, and I was like, huh? One thing's for sure, my intuition was on point. Like, I would go over his place and I'd get nightmares. I get crazy nightmares. And it didn't align, because I'd be home and not have nightmares. And so there were little things I was starting to connect the dots. However, here's what got me. Because he was doing so much and taking care of all the money. I mean, he surprised me with a Chris Brown concert. He was buying me purses, like expensive stuff. I had red bottom this, red bottom that. A really nice purse. Tory Burch. Oh, and I got the red bottom purse. He gave me a lot of stuff, and I'm not really a material girl, but he was convinced that I was. And so I'm here like playing it off like, oh my god, thank you. Mind you, for little cute events, I'm doing like arts and crafts stuff, and like for like to ask him out for Valentine's Day, I ended up putting candles all over, and like was like, will you be my Valentine? Spelled it out. I had a cute little outfit on. I made dinner. I did all these cute things. And for him, it was very much just like showy things. It was like, for me, it was intimate stuff that maybe I'll take a picture and share, but for him, it was just very elaborate things. And he does a lot of stuff, right? And so at this point, we're 3 months in, and I just kept feeling more and more like, wow, I feel like I owe this man. When you start to feel an energy like that, so let's talk about that. If you start to feel like you owe somebody, there's an energy you're feeling. You cannot pretend like you don't feel it. And I was doing that at one point. It's almost like every time he did something, he was keeping track, and he would note it. He was like, you know, all the money I spent, I started getting pokes from him, and I wasn't expecting it. I was like, whoa, okay, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? If you didn't want to spend it, I didn't want you to. And so let's talk about these things. And he wasn't really a talker per se, even though I'm very much a communicator. He would just do things and give like little snarky comments. On top of that, there's like less compliments I'm getting from him. There's less romance. There's a less attention to detail, and it's all showy. Everything's just showy. He came to like a family wedding with me. He was very much not really that affectionate, and I like affection, and I like feeling wanted. It's not about the showy stuff. He got us the hotel room, all that. But when it came to attention to me, I felt like things were lacking. It's almost like this is a man that wanted things to go his way. And there was a lot of little manipulation. And I had to notice it. I think he has the right to be how he is, right? But for me, I don't play that. And so there were things I would call out for sure, and I would speak up, but I was tolerating it because I felt like I owed him. I felt like I hit the jackpot with this man, and so that means I should tolerate certain things. And I didn't want to, but I still stuck around because I'm like, look, I'm too deep in now. And so for Christmas, I made sure I got him everything on his Christmas list. I got him so many things. Oh my God, just filled him up with gifts. And I was trying to repay in a sense and like make up for some of the things that I was not able to do. Like he was flying me this, that, and the third, paying for this, that, booking this. Oh my gosh, I was traveling, went to Jamaica, which is where he proposed to me, by the way. But yeah, it was a lot of attention to gifts and the showy things. But when it came to me, for example, we were watching a movie on his couch and I'm just sitting there, like I'm pretty close to him, but I'm sitting there, and at that moment I wasn't touching him or whatever, but I was touching him before that, but he didn't really do anything. And then when I lean over, like, okay, do you, whatever, he ends up rubbing the lamp next to me. But he would not touch me, not once, but he's rubbing the lamp. When I tell you rubbing it for like half to the whole entire movie, I want to say, it sounds dramatic, but literally at least half the movie, he's just rubbing the lamp, but will not touch the woman that's next to him. Can we make it make sense? So I didn't understand it, but I was like, oh, okay, there's something off here. For example, I bought a pair of jeans. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm like shedding pounds. He's so cute. And he looked at me, he's like, oh, you sure they're not tight around your stomach? I was like, why would you say that? Like, I'm happy right now. I'm excited. I told you they fit. Why do you need to know if it's tight around my, like, what? We got into a blowout argument that day, and we just started arguing more and more. He wanted to pick fights. Anytime I would do something good for him, he would just pick a fight. If I do any thoughtful gesture of any sorts, I even got him like tickets to a comedy show that and it was a comedian he really loves, and there wasn't really much gratitude. He was just like, he didn't say much after it. It was just, but every time he would do something for me, I would show my appreciation. So I just felt like I was this I don't know what to call it, because even a trophy you're excited for. I think in the beginning he felt excited, and then afterwards he's like, I think in my opinion it felt like, I can't say I think, it felt like this was a man that was checking off a quota. He's like, I'm a 43-year-old man, I need to have a woman, and my woman needs to do what I say. Was he 43? That sounds crazy. No, he was like 38. Sorry, he's like probably now 43, 44, I think. There was just a lot of red flags that I couldn't ignore anymore. Right before he proposed, we were at a New Year's party, and he was kind of eyeing women and kind of being disrespectful, and I didn't like it. I was just like, oh, and I called him out. A lot of things I would call him out, but after calling someone out so many times, you have to leave, and I didn't. And so I'm like, look, I was definitely wrong in this situation for sure, until I wasn't, because I think we're learning things and we have to be patient with ourselves. And so for me, I was patient, but I was very vocal about some of the things that was irking me about him. And so we would have talks and we would get back to neutral, but I still just didn't feel like things were clicking. And so when he proposed to me in Jamaica, it was very abrupt. It was like not this romantic thing really. He just did it in the sand. It was really dark. I couldn't even see the ring until we got to the light. He seemed frantic. It was a lot of like vibes that I didn't understand. That next day there was an argument. I mean, there was just so many signs. And I think for me, there was a part of me that was scared to say no to his proposal in Jamaica, because I didn't want to get left in Jamaica, and he had a little conniving side, you know what I mean? So I think there were parts of me that just felt like I had to protect myself more than I wanted to. I just didn't know what to expect from him, and I already put myself in the situation, so I felt like I had to act accordingly. We're engaged. Now we're telling people about our engagement. We end up planning an engagement party, but now he's a stickler. You need to move in with me. Now we're like having serious talks about how I need to move in with him. But I'm really like kind of trying to get out of it a little bit. And I didn't realize that that's what I was doing until I realized it, because there were good moments with him. I don't want to take away from that. There were fun moments. We had a blast. I think as an older man, he could keep up with certain things or whatever. I don't think that we were supposed to be in a romantic relationship, and we were just trying to make something work that just wasn't working, at least to me. I think there were little things that he would appreciate that I would do, but it was hard for him to utter those words. And I think that there was healing that he needed to do and all of that, which I respect. Even I needed healing. But I think love was something difficult for him, and I grew up with a family that didn't understand love either. So to subject myself to a potential marriage that doesn't have love in it hurt my soul. And so I could not see through with it. I could not see it through. There we go. Apparently, I ended up learning that he cheated on me. So as he's doing all these elaborate things, he's also finding time. And mind you, he's a busy man, worked crazy hours. And I understood, like, I deserve more. And so a lot of times we meet people and they're better than the ones that we were with, but they're not doing it. They not really hitting. They're not really doing it well. And I'm gonna tell you this, the relationship I had before that, it's not that he was better than it, because there was, you know, that was a deeper relationship for me, for sure. It would last really long. But with him, it was grown. It was grown love. It was very much, I don't even know if it was love, to be honest. Once I found out that he was cheating, my sister was supporting me through it, and we were talking about it and how I found out. I'm not gonna get into that. He ended up coming over, and I ended up ending it. And I was just like, yeah, I can't do this. And so he asked for the ring back. Oh, he had bought me a car too, by the way. He bought me like a van, to be honest. This man was ready to make me have kids and all that. He had a whole plan. It's almost like he planned out our life, and I was just there, just like until I wasn't, because I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. He had a plan. He got the car, and there was nothing about what I wanted. It was just what he wanted. There was just things I felt grateful for, but I couldn't overlook how much I was being overlooked. It's like he had this picture perfect life planned out, and he's like, oh, Danielle, let me place her in this life that I have built. But as far as us building together and really having conversations that hit in a way where I felt like I had a partner, no. And so do you feel like you're in a partnership? Like, do you feel like this person values you for you? Do you feel like you are appreciated? Or if you're not in a relationship, when you get into one, make sure these are the questions you're asking yourself, because I was asking myself and answering the questions, and I still stayed. The minute I heard about the cheating, yeah, I ended it. I was like, nah, I'm good. I can't do this. And he was livid, tried to poke at me and all that. He made his mom call me. He made his uncle blow my phone up, basically. It was a lot. And I started to feel like, should I feel bad? Because my life was made with him. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? This man wanted to literally take care of me. But my mental health and my heart was telling me to run as fast as I could. And I did. And so I say all this to say, the money, the gifts don't mean squat. And I mean that. As someone who has gone through some challenges in my life, telling you right now, all of the money in the world could not make me change my mind. It didn't align for me. And I think sometimes things don't align and we still stick around. That goes for a job, that goes for friendships, that goes for relationships. It's not okay. Don't stick around. You have to leave. And that's what I did. And so I called off the engagement. I told everybody, hey, there's no more engagement party. I ended up posting him on social, and I had to delete him within like a month or two, because I was hiding him off of social for a while. Like, it was a lot of hints that I'm with a man, but I was keeping him private until finally I posted a picture of us and had to delete it. But all good. So I have no hard feelings for him. The point of me talking about this to say, one, the red flags be in our face. You need to see them, and you need to realize it, and you need to call yourself out. For real. And you gotta take action. I was there, and I understand that it takes time to take action, but when you do, it's worth it. And I was in a relationship before that where I let a lot slide, and it broke me. And so with this one, I didn't wait to get broken. I left, and I left with dignity. I left with, you know what I mean? Like, you're not about to play me. And all of this went down within a matter of like 7 months. Like, things are moving fast, and I still chose me. And so that was very important to me. The next thing is, take your time. You could be lonely, but that one phone call can change your life. And so I almost married a man that I understood was not for me. All in the name of loneliness. All in the name of I'm trying to make shit move. All in the name of people told me this is what I needed, so that's what I aligned with. Absolutely not. I did not want or need that. And I understood it the first time around. But life will make you feel like you have to tolerate certain things and certain treatment. And yes, I had fun. When I tell you I had fun, I will never take that away from him. I enjoyed myself truly. And I was very kind to him. I remember when he would wake up for work, because he was miserable waking up, when he would have to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I would rub this man's back like, it's okay, honey. It's all right. It's all right. I was as affectionate as I could be, at least towards him, making sure I woke up to make breakfast for this man. You know what I mean? Like, I did what I could. And when you do what you can and you still don't feel like it's working, that's when you have to really sit back and be like, oh, nah, I'm doing myself a disservice. Ever since then, I've been single, and it's 2024 now. So it's been 4 years, and I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing. And I'm telling you, I've been through some things. I've been homeless since then. I have gone through challenges, emptied out bank account, in debt. I mean, I'm gonna get into those stories, I promise. And I still stand here 10 toes down like I don't regret a thing. I don't. And that's the truth. A lot of times people make us feel like we did something wrong. You have to ask yourself, are you happy here and are you willing to tolerate? If you're not, get the fuck out. Do what you can, okay? I support you getting out. Please support you getting out, okay? That's my spiel. That's why I called it off. And so if you are in a similar situation, hopefully these tips and tricks help, or it's just like a good kiki. You know what I mean? I like to tell stories about my life. I have countless stories, so buckle up. You understand? Buckle the fuck up. Thank you for being here. If you stuck around, I appreciate you. Leave some below for me. What are your thoughts? How you feel? What's going on? Talk to me. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of the above. But we're here, we chilling. I have a lot more to share, so stick around if you want, okay? That is all for now. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon. Bye.